Hey everybody out there, welcome to the 2018 edition of Enter Tournament of Champions podcast. Officially, you've probably listened to the box office tournament one in 2018, but whatever, we didn't record it then. So this is our first official foray into the new year, I suppose. And what better way to kick things off by looking back at the year that was 2017? Because holy shit, look at all the shit.
What a year.
It's insane. It's nuts. It's banana sandwich. We're going to start with TV today, and all three of us have our own top 10 lists that we're going to go through, and we do have the concept of pushing.
I feel like that's going to get used a lot this episode.
So. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thanks for reminding me. I got to fucking open that website so I can get the soundboard going. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. The TV shows from 2017. What impressed us the most? And guess what? There was a fucking lot of them. Like some of the ones I cut from honorable mentions broke my goddamn heart. I don't even have Man Seeking Woman in there, and I loved that season. Or It's Always Sunny. That's another one.
Who hurt you?
Yeah, I had to put It's Always Sunny into mine. I totally forgot about that when I was making my list. So
what are
I had
the
to
rules?
Kick off. Huh?
What are the rules? It's the same season where they're black in the first episode. Yeah, it's a great episode.
Oh man, yes.
What are the rules?
I have to rewatch the season honestly because it's so good. There's a making a murderer episode too.
Yeah, making.
Yes.
But that's just an example of like quality television I had to cut from my list. I loved Veep and Silicon Valley. Didn't have room for it anywhere. Cool. I just did the fart sound so I could make sure that works. It looks like it's coming through okay. Anyway, we're going to do top 10. We're going to take turns like we always do. You know, one of us does 10, and we all do 9, and then we all do 8. Okay. Anyway, the order this time is... Oh, JD's first.
Oh, sweet.
Hey, JD, what's your number 10?
Look, don't talk about me. What I say, what I do, what I drive.
Don't look at Robot Crab. He's shy.
No, he's shy. Okay, I start list now, okay?
Okay. Good American list.
Good American list is a French show called Legion. I'm at number 10. Legion.
Push that. Yeah,
we're gonna push Legion? Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Just a little bit. Like the smallest of nudges.
I got you. Guess what? Heartbreaking, truthful, be honest with you guys right now. That's an honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
It was in my 10 for a very long time. And then I saw new shows and they fucked everything up. Well, I don't know what to say.
I just rewatched it, so it's fresh.
Fresh.
It's one I went back to as well and like binged it and I was like, oh.
Yeah. I have to watch any of these shows again because new shows kept coming out to where I was like, there's no way I have time to rewatch anything television wise. Movie wise, sure, because you're 2 hours and you're done. But yeah, with TV shows, like there's other ones we're going to talk about that I'm like, oh, man, I really got to watch that again.
Yep.
So Kyle, what's your number 10?
My number 10, surprisingly, it's actually the last season of Black Sails. Really, really, really strong season. I would say it's the best speeches, the best monologues, best writing, and their most gruesome killings. They just really pull out all their stops this season. And you see the entire arc of Long John Silver from that fucking stupid pretty boy you see in the very first episode of the very first season. I go, if the show's about this guy, I'm not going to watch this show. To by the time the show's ending, you're like, I can't believe I just watched, like, that was like, what an arc. Like, you're just like, oh, I fucking love this character. And he's the character I didn't want anything to do with at the very beginning of this show. Just the fully realized character arc, just really awesome. It hasn't been on my list the last few years just because the seasons were good, but they weren't great, you know? Mm-hmm. This season was fantastic. It was just a really step above everything. And they really put the rest of their budget into this because they knew it was the last season. So, and it sets up, like, Treasure Island would start right after, like, minutes after the last episode ends. So that's awesome. It's like a complete prequel to Treasure
thing. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool. I forgot to mention before we even started that there were some bad shows during this last year, and one of them was Iron Fist. I didn't put that in my 10. I hope you guys didn't either.
Was that this year? I thought that was 2016.
My number 7.
Yeah, that's your number 7. Oh, sorry.
No,
let's
God,
push it.
no. Yeah.
And another one was a show with Naomi Watts. I watched like 40 minutes of it on Netflix called Gypsy, and it's fucking terrible.
Didn't watch that.
It's so bad.
Didn't watch that.
I didn't even finish the first episode. That's how bad it was.
That's crazy.
It's like, I don't give a shit about any of this. And the production was just terrible. It just came across really cheap, and it was kind of like they were stretching scenes out to make it a series, and the scenes weren't important enough to stretch out. And Iron Fist, I feel like there's defenders of the show. I get it, defenders. But that was not intentional.
I didn't at first, and I'm like, oh, never mind, I got there.
But it's just the way that Danny Rand was written, that he's just annoying as shit. And I got 6 episodes in.
It's like, it's the actor's fault, don't get me wrong, but it's that whole show's fault for being bad also.
Yeah,
it is. Everything around him is also bad. Right. But I keep on seeing how everyone keeps on calling it like his fault, like that actor. I'm like, no, man, like no cog is working in that machine at all. So.
Yeah, it's more than just him. That's a problem. Yeah. And Colleen Wing is great, but she can't say
she's awesome.
She's
supposed to be Rey. Think about that. That should have been the very first. Never mind. I don't want to spoil anything.
She what?
Just remember that she was originally being casted as Rey. She stepped up to play Rey.
Damn.
Yeah.
These Rose haters would have a fucking field day with that.
Yeah, well, just think about when I'm saying that. I'm not spoiling anything, but when I say that, you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. It means a lot.
Yeah. Oh my God, people would not. Well, there's sections of the internet that would just swear off the new trilogy altogether if
again
that was the case.
So nothing would change.
Yeah. It's funny how they're like, I'm not watching it because in Force Awakens they were like, I'm not watching it because it's just an agenda being pushed on me because Rey and Finn are the leads, and then Last Jedi comes out and it's like number 1 at the box office for the year. As we predicted last week, by the way.
Yeah.
And big surprise there. Yeah, you guys probably all saw it.
By the way, when 2020 comes around and it's the number 1 movie again, I don't want to hear shit from anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to watch it. I'm putting my foot down. You will.
Yeah,
you'll be there.
Yeah, you will.
Oh, you'll all be there.
Yeah. Day 1, 2, or the second day. I don't know. Whatever.
Your precious J.J. Abrams is back. So.
Yeah, exactly. You're the prodigal son.
Prodigal?
Yeah, prodigal.
That is not right.
Porgadal?
Oh, there's another show. I didn't include any documentary type shows in my list, but there was one that was really incredible, and it was on Netflix. It was called The Confession Tapes, and each episode is about a case, a specific case where at least the producers of the show, I guess, or the creators, have enough evidence to suggest that confessions were coerced out of people after like X amount of hours of interrogating.
Yeah.
And it's like 7 or 8 episodes, and it's really good. And of course, it's going to anger the shit out of you. I mean, as it should. But yeah, it's really good, man. Highly recommend that to everybody. Cool. But yeah, so my number 10 is it's not going to be a push, but it kind of came out of nowhere. It's American Vandal.
Oh, okay.
No way.
I didn't watch that one, man.
Thank you so much for putting that on here. Yeah. That's awesome. I honestly probably should have put it on my top 10 because I was talking so much about it for so long.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts that this show became what it was, and honestly, any other year would be higher on my list because of when we first saw the trailers for it. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, it's a spoof. That's great.
Yeah, it's going to be like silly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it could have, in my head, I was like, oh, after 3 episodes, I'm going to be tired of that shit.
Yeah.
Who drew the dicks and stuff.
I get it. No, I get it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. There's 8 episodes of this? Jesus, okay.
I know. But then they turned it, it's like they totally trolled us a little bit, but in a smart way, because now we're like watching it and invested, and by the end of the season, I don't want to give spoilers, but like by the end of the season, you're binging through it because you want to find out like who fucking drew all the dicks, man.
You are so genuinely invested in the show while watching it. It's scary because you're like, at the end of the day, it's just about graffiti dicks, and it's just like.
Was it Jonah Hill? Did he do it? Did he draw the dicks?
I mean, God, they were as good as that, I would say.
Does the character have a treasure chest filled with dicks, or
not really though? They were like cartoonish.
They're crude, cartoonish dicks.
Yeah, exactly. And
okay.
And they were one of. I think there were distinct differences at one point that they were pointing out. Like one of them.
No. Like the big breakthrough of the case was that they realized there's no hair on the balls.
Yes.
On the cars, but he draws hair on his balls because he's like that's my staple,
right.
Like that's
Good signature.
or maybe it was
so
the opposite
seriously.
way around. I forget, but that was the big break in the case,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I'll be damned, he might be innocent, and you're like, what the fuck am I talking about?
You always have to remind
times
yourself.
Where I leaned forward to the TV and was just like, oh no, this case just blew wide open, and I go, Kyle, shut the fuck up. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And then it becomes something else. Like by the end of it, about everybody's perception of you, and if you should be aiming higher above that perception, or if you should just become and play into everybody's expectations of you.
Yeah.
And stuff. It ends up being more of a profound kind of thing about high school life and stuff. Which is very it's shocking. This show just came out of nowhere. Like it legitimately. I saw a trailer. I showed it to Kyle, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, what is this shit?"
So incredibly happy that this is on your top 10, and it makes me.
Yeah,
so
and I mean, think about the shows that I didn't have in here, which we'll get to in our honorable mentions before we list our number one. You'll be like, I mean, you'll kind of be upset, honestly, at some of the ones that are in my honorable mentions. You'll be like, get the fuck out of here. Come on, dude. But yeah, that's my number 10, and I honestly do want to watch that show again. And even when the series ends, actually, they got renewed, not the series. The season ends, you're still projecting theories and stuff. Like, Kyle and I were just, like, legitimately debating, like, who drew the dicks and stuff. And
yeah.
Even though that they kind of give you an answer.
She had a cast at that time, and you're like, no, I don't know, man. She had her cast done.
Yeah, exactly. And Reddit had its own. There was obviously an American Vandal subreddit because there is a subreddit for everything, and everybody's posting theories and pictures, and like it's fucking crazy. This thing took on a life of its own when it was just trying to, mock documentaries, not in a way where it's a mockumentary, guys. It's comedy. They're literally talking. They're talking about documentaries in a way where they're trying to get people that make them to realize that you're always approaching a subject with bias, even though you're trying not to. And I mean, I think even the guy that like runs the documentary realizes that by the end of it, he's like, I was rooting for this guy. I already came into this documentary saying he was innocent. And he just has his own revelations and stuff. It's really fucking good, man. Revelations. How many words can I say wrong this episode? Progadal. John Doctor, what's your number 9?
Yeah. Put It's Always Sunny at number 9, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I fucking love this show. Like, absolutely love it. Every episode was so good. It's okay.
It's okay, yeah. I'm kidding.
No, it's great.
Yeah,
it's
I love
great.
It.
PTSD was one of my favorites with the one with Dee and the male stripper when like she's his rock bottom.
Yeah.
And so she's going out of her way to prove that she's the best thing that's ever happened to him. Like I love it when Dee goes on a mission, man. The water park one was hysterical too, where Mac and Dee get stuck in I think they get stuck in a slide or something.
Yeah.
Like the kids keep just piling up behind them.
Yeah. And they were told not to. Hey, they didn't obey the rules of the water park.
I didn't listen. But yeah, the one where they're all black was a great way to start. That's when you know you're in for a ride for the season when you start off with
how
that.
They open it up. When I love how it ends. We really, really want to go home. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's a great season.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it though because that was really early in the year. I totally even fucking forgot about it.
I should honestly start the whole series over. It's I watched it once all the way through. So
really,
yeah.
Okay.
I'd watched it all the way through this year. It was great.
Man, all right.
It was great.
Good stuff.
I'll tell you what, it was really good. It was great.
Really good.
I don't know what that is. I don't know who that is impression
It
of.
sounds like what's his face from Andy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of close to
Andy
Tony Coffin.
Kaufman.
I'm like, I'm not Andy Kaufman.
Oh, yeah. Tony Coffin.
I'm not Andy Kaufman.
Catch a story.
Different people. You've never seen me in the same place.
What does Andy Kaufman have to do with me? That's great. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
That's a great number 9. Kyle, what's your number 9?
We just pushed it. It's Legion.
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 Yeah. Honorable mention.
This is a show that was, when I say frustrating, I mean in a good way, watching it week to week. When you watch it back to back, and it just flows like one long movie, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel like that should have been watched, but unfortunately, we're still shackled to this week-to-week method that everyone's is so attached to. So it's really good, man. Anything that takes place in the mind, Inception, or anything like that, like you're already in Kyle territory. I'm already in. I'm already so in. And the fact that this, spoilers, I guess, takes place like 90% in somebody's brain.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Really cool. Never thought that that's what we were getting in this show, even though looking at the trailers, it was very fantastical, and I should probably get it. I could have guessed, oh, this is going to be like just a constant like dreamscape, this movie. And that's exactly what it is, or a nightmarescape. Hell, it's hardly ever fun. It's very creepy and stuff for these characters at most points. And I just really enjoy it. I really enjoyed the entire cast. This is like the show I'm super stoked for. I know it's not coming back next year, right? Is it the year after?
Probably the year after.
Yeah. So whatever.
I think it's more like on a schedule that's like it'll come back when it comes back.
Yeah, it might be back. It might be back this year. It might be back next year. Who knows?
According to Wikipedia, it's planned for a February release this year, and I don't know if that's still true. They did start filming in September. TV works fast, so
you're right. Yeah,
it could be February.
Really like it. Really smart show. Sign me up for more.
Yeah, I like that that show took so many risks for that genre because it's a superhero show. It is. It's in the universe of the X-Men, not necessarily a film or comic universe. I mean, it's kind of doing its own thing, separate.
You don't even know what year it takes place in.
Yeah, you don't. That's another thing. Like, he makes it dreamlike on purpose, so you can't really pinpoint when it takes place, why everybody's wearing what they're wearing and stuff. Like, what's the fashion sense? You have no idea. Everybody's wearing different shit at like every scene. That's from a different era, it seems. But yeah, I think like in terms of like the action and stuff, and some of the character stuff is just you've never seen a superhero anything done like this. It's so well shot too. Noah Hawley's just a goddamn television genius, and we're not done talking about him at all. That's for goddamn sure. Okay, so yeah, Noah Hawley did say in March 2017 that the second season should start airing in February. So maybe we'll hear about that sooner rather than later.
Cool.
TV works fast, man. So
I feel like we would have a trailer by now, but you're
me
right.
Too.
I feel like I'm always underestimating this TV works fast thing that you keep saying.
Yeah, they're
and you're right.
Not fucking around. They are not fucking around at all.
Like, it's a hit. Put out another one. Put out 6 more.
I know they cast somebody else as the They cast somebody else as the king. What's his name? Now I can't remember the main villain's name. The Shadow King.
Shadow King?
They cast one of the actors who was in Wonder Woman, was part of like Wonder Woman's like crew, bandits or whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
Band of bandits. Anyway, whatever. And he dropped out in November, so I don't know what they're doing. I know Aubrey Plaza's coming back.
Good.
It looks like the cast is pretty much entirely the same, so yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It'll be good.
It'll be good. Hey, it'll be good. This is a new thing we're doing now. Just Tony Clifton all day.
Yeah, there we go. God, that name was killing me. I've been trying to look it up and stuff. I'm like, what's the fucking...
Oh, boy. My number 9, I don't think it'll be on either of your lists. This is on Netflix. It's not a Netflix show. It's actually a Discovery Channel show, which I think it might be their first one that's scripted, or at least scripted and good. It's called Manhunt and Manhunt Unabomber. This is the Unabomber show about the Unabomber, Ted Krasinski, played by Paul Bettany, of all people.
Really?
A distinguished
You never
British
mentioned
guy.
that when you were talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. Paul Bettany, drops that, British, obviously that British accent. He drops that shit, and does his little American Ted Krasinski, wherever the fuck he's from. There was definitely an accent there. But just the writing is just so fucking, like, it's so good. You're sitting there watching the show going, did the writing really, like, just make me kind of go, Ted Krasinski's got a point? Like, it's kind of crazy. You're not supposed to think these things. But that's how good the show is, and it's just so incredibly paced. Where it reminds me of Zodiac, honestly, how people stumble onto what seems like a small, tiny detail, but it breaks the case wide open in terms of helping to profile the Unabomber so they can find him. And Sam Worthington, who was in Avatar,
No.
yeah,
God,
he's the
he's the
lead.
worst.
But he's good in this. I mean,
What?
the material is good. I don't want to say it's better than him. He's on par with the material. And one of the Sand Snakes is in this, and
One.
Jane Lynch plays Janet Reno. That one's perfect.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like a perfect casting right there.
Okay.
The Sand Snake. Oh God, I don't know which one.
The young one, the Iron Fist one, or the other one? That's how I remember
The
them.
other one, then the young
Okay.
one. Okay, I know who you're talking about. The young,
Young
one.
one
This
is the
is gonna
one that
sound
was hitting
terrible.
on Braun, right?
Yeah, that's the one that was hitting on Braun in that
Okay.
legendary
Oh.
scene that I totally haven't watched over and over again.
Yeah, I haven't watched that over and over again.
Why
either.
would you watch that one over and over again? There's no
I mean,
substance
it's just
there.
really good dialogue. You know?
Oh, okay.
Really good
Gotcha.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Awesome
Mark
dialogue.
Duplass
A couple
plays
pair of really good people who do dialogue. See what I did there? Okay, anyway.
I got you.
I was gonna say Mark Duplass plays Ted
Ooh, I like
Kaczynski's
him.
brother in this. There's a lot of every time an actor shows up, you're like, oh shit, I know them. Yeah, it's just incredibly well paced. There's never a slow moment. There's 8 episodes. There's just never a slow moment in it. Even when they start at the beginning, you're like, oh boy.
He's the lead guy, right? Mark Duplass?
No, he's just the brother of Ted Kaczynski. So he shows up for like a minute.
No, League. Like the guy from League.
Oh, the League. Yes, I
Yes,
thought you
yes,
said
yes.
lead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm like, man, if that's not him, then
yeah,
my whole world
that's-
just got shattered. Okay, yeah. It's funny because he's in the League and it's such a silly show, but like he's a really serious director and
Yep.
he can play really serious parts,
Yeah.
and the guy's got a lot of range.
He's really good in the Creep movies. He's in the Creep, which is like a found footage type of movie, and he's literally a creep in it. And he's a very diabolical human being, and manipulative and fucking evil. And then there's a sequel that came out this year, and it's incredible because it totally turns the original on its head. You're like, oh, they're just gonna do the same thing where he lures somebody to his place to document his life, and it turns into something sinister. And they totally don't, you know what I mean? They totally subvert that. It's so good. I can't believe how good those movies are. They have no right being that good. But Mark Duplass is such a creepy fuck. Now I'm never gonna look at him the same ever again. Yeah, I love Manhunt though. It's good. It's 8 episodes in and out. Like I literally watched it in a day because once you start, you literally can't stop. They're Pringles. So I think that's a Pringles thing. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, because you pop the lid off the can.
Once pop,
and
just
then-
can't stop. Hey.
Then you don't stop. You know,
So that's my number 9. JD, what's your number 8?
man.
Uh-oh.
This show,
Uh-oh.
and had to end, and it broke my heart. It's *Halt and Catch Fire*.
Oh, man. That didn't make my list, unfortunately. But that's a hard honorable mention.
I know. I know, Kyle, you haven't seen it, right?
I have not.
Man.
Also on Netflix, fortunately. Thank goodness.
Yeah,
It
and
just
I
came
think-
on there, yeah.
I think the new episodes, just dropped. So
Yeah, the new
Episodes
episode.
did?
The new
Oh,
episodes,
goodness.
excuse me.
I want to
Yeah.
watch it over again because those characters, talk about fully realized characters. Like,
seriously, man.
yeah. Like, I don't even
I
see the
will
actors
put that
anymore.
on my next list, so don't even tempt me. I mean, seriously, I don't have anything to watch right now. So
Do it.
Oh, yeah.
You will.
That's a good
You'll
one.
love it, man.
Yep.
Because it reinvents itself every season, and the characters go through very, very defined arcs, and they every one of them has their own journey within each season, and
Yeah.
you go from loving and hating pretty much all of them at one point or another during the run of the series. It's 4 seasons total,
Yeah.
and this last one just ripped me to shreds, man.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want to see it go, and then the way that they did it was beautiful, but it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And
it was very poignant. Like, there's a lot to chew on and think on.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think that show could get there based on the first season. Like I thought,
Yeah.
I
think
really didn't think it was going to get that elevated for me.
people that stuck around like you and I after the first season were highly rewarded because that first season people did drop off. They're like, it's just not enough. And then when you stuck around, it's like, oh shit. Yeah. Like it gets like insanely better in season 2.
I mean,
and then
because Joe
onward.
is shows like this, force of nature kind of character in season 1, and to me that was enough to keep me going.
Oh yeah, the cast was solely like enough for me to go. I'm gonna keep watching this show.
Yeah.
So does the landing stick? I mean, it's pretty good last season.
Yes, it's so good.
Okay.
It's unbelievably good.
I'm tearing up thinking about it, man.
Yeah,
I literally, if you could tell me I just watched the greatest show of my entire life, but the ending sucked, I'd go, cool, I'm never gonna watch that.
Yeah.
Case in point, everyone talks about Battlestar Galactica. You would find that the most fascinating show ever. Probably would. Heard the ending sucked. I mean, don't judge the last end. I mean, I have to. What do you mean? Don't judge the ending? Like, what do you mean? Like, fuck off with that. That's like the most important component to an entire story is the landing.
I've heard enough people complain about Lost too to kind of not make you want to watch it.
But I hear that one's at least like polarizing. Like some people are happy with it and some people aren't.
I'm more than happy with it.
But that's different. Like people collectively hate this. So
yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That makes me never want to. I hadn't heard the Battlestar thing because I don't think I talked to enough people.
It gets really rocky during the last couple seasons. Like it goes way off the wall. Yeah.
No, dude.
Actually, I didn't mind the ending though personally.
You didn't mind it? Okay.
No. The road that they took to get there was fucking weird. Super fucking weird.
I can't. That's your last few it's your last few seasons. You gotta you gotta nail it. Yeah. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that a show just falls apart at the end.
Because then I have nothing to look forward to.
Right.
Now I'm like, ugh, when's it gonna get bad? And I'm always gonna be looking for it, and I'll never be immersed.
Right.
And that's on me. I'll force myself out of the experience.
There's another show that ended this year that did another, even better than *Halt and Catch Fire*, which was still amazing. Stuck the landing big time. And it was in a sense, we'll get there, but it was in a sense like a redemption for the writers too.
We will get there, sir.
We will
get
there.
Is it Doggy Bag?
That is correct.
Is that what it is? Okay.
It's this little show called Jag. Remember the show Jag on USA Network?
I mean, I remember the name.
CBS. I fucking cares. It's so terrible. It's like
on
old
TNT,
people
maybe?
drama, like NCIS.
They know drama.
There you go.
Goodness.
Kyle, what's your number 8? *Halt and Catch Fire*. God damn it! I'm so mad that I didn't. Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah,
Kyle,
I'm mad at you, man.
It's Kyle. What's your number 8?
My number 8, Jeff, is Black Mirror.
Oh God, we are pushing.
Cool. Good. That's a good move. Good move from both of you guys.
Smart move.
Very smart from both of you.
You know what? I'm pushing it too on my own list.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So my number 8. Oh God, this is definitely. I'm just gonna cue it right now. My number 8 is Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Push the shit out of it.
You know what? I went with my gut. Just didn't add this one to my list this year. It's at the top every year. Just fuck it.
Oh really?
Just took it off.
See, here I was feeling bad about putting it low.
I didn't even put it on there. I don't care.
Damn.
You know why? Because it would have been number 1. I just love this show. It'd be like, hey, Kyle, does Star Wars come out this year? Which, might be a surprise with that. But, it's just like, I'm like, it's always going to be number 1. Just fuck off with it. It's the thing I'm most excited to watch. It's the thing I get the most out of. If you were like, Kyle, what's the most fun you had watching anything this year? Game of Thrones.
Yep.
It's just off the list. It's been on the list at number 1 for the last 7 years now. So I'm fucking over it. I'm just
fucking over
off list going on forward. It's not even going to be on next year's list. I don't even care.
Yeah, it won't be. You're right.
I'm talking 2019. I just.
Oh yeah.
I just won't put it on there. It just, even if it fucking is so good. I'm so tired of it being.
You crazy.
I'm really glad
about it anyway. So I mean, it's kind of I get it.
I know. I knew you guys would carry the torch for it. So
yeah.
And I did a whole series rewatch too, so I'm like,
oh yeah,
super high.
I'm about to upgrade my Hulu to get HBO, and I'm going to do that too. It's my favorite thing. Man.
Once it wraps up, I'm going to do that. That's what I still want to do that with Sons actually, even though I've watched the 4 seasons.
Riding through this world, all alone.
I raged when a certain character dies later on, and I got so fucking mad. It was
Sons.
It was the second to last season finale. And so a major character dies, and I was fucking fuming about it.
Yeah.
But
I think
the show.
Who you be talking?
Yeah, the show was trying to get that out of me. Anyway, Yeah, we'll talk about Game of Thrones whenever. JD, what's your number? Oh, it's my turn, isn't it? No, we're back to JD.
No, yours
JD,
was Game of Thrones. Yeah.
What's your number 7?
Better Call Saul.
Yeah, we're pushing.
A little push, little tiny push.
It's a good
Not
call.
for me. It's a bigger push for me.
Bully. You're just a big bully.
You know what?
Just pushing things around.
I take it back. It's not that much of a push. Never mind. Kyle, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Rick and Morty.
Oh, nice. Pickle
Yeah.
Rick. This is the Pickle
Pickle
Rick season,
Rick.
everybody.
Really good season this year.
Honorable mention for me.
Really liked every single episode. This is literally, I put this show on here instead of Game of Thrones because I've never had Rick and Morty on any of my lists.
Yeah.
Because I've never watched it live.
Right.
So just a little sneak peek. Game of Thrones was my number 7. Took that off, put Rick and Morty on here. I just really like this season. This show's so smart, and like I've gone back and watched every episode like 3 times now because it's like this is one of my favorite shows like to exist right now.
Right.
And it's just layered. Like I get a new joke every single time.
Yeah.
It's super super layered. It's super super smart. Sometimes I have to look up some references. I'm like, oh, I didn't get that joke, and I look it up. I'm like, oh man, they just made me do homework to get a laugh. That's crazy. God, I'm an idiot. Then the show constantly kind of, I don't know. I know like the fan base is really toxic now. Oh, it's the smartest show on TV, and you're stupid if you don't like it or whatever.
There's a bunch of assholes out there for this community, but
thanks everybody.
It's not dissimilar from other ones, I guess.
That's true.
Like the whole Szechuan sauce thing debacle.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ! I was
What
kind of
chain
hiding
had
my
that?
head in shame after that.
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah. A lot of great episodes on this season, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's up there for me with like, it's not like replacing South Park. It's not trying to be South Park. It's its own comedy niche or whatever. It's not trying to even do a lot of satirization. It's just a straight up like sci-fi comedy.
And they're aware enough to write jokes in there about. Didn't South Park do this?
Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah, the World of
say
Warcraft or the Minecraft episode or whatever.
Yeah, but South Park already did this, so we got to do something else.
Yeah,
no, this will be different.
Trust me, and they did it way better than we were gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, they're very aware. I love that they put that meta humor in there. It's one of the most meta shows to ever exist. Typical to Dan Harmon and his material.
I just had to sneak a comedy on my list. I just never give comedies like the adequate they deserve.
I have comedies, but they just also have a lot of heart and tender moments. Like I have 2 comedies, major ones.
Good for you.
Yeah, Rick and Morty is brought tons of laughs, man, and they obviously write it with the intention of you constantly doing repeat viewings of it.
Yeah, totally.
Because I've yet to do that.
It's
really
written and structured like that. Like that's what it's made for. It's like binge watching and rewatching, and I just don't get tired of it. I don't know. Maybe if I watched it every day, I'd get tired of it. But space it out. Space it out, guys.
Yeah, I really have to binge it. Not binge it. I'm sorry. Just watch it over again. Probably 1 episode a day, so I can digest that shit. So that's your number 7. My number 7 is Glow.
Oh yes,
nice.
Yes.
No, nobody else has it.
No,
I wish I could have.
Oh my fucking!
It's always Sunny booted it in for me.
I get it. Okay, you know what? I can't even be mad. I get it. This is just I watch wrestling. That's what this is. Is my thing is.
But dude,
I bring baggage.
I love that
to the
show.
I love. This would have gotten like top 5 in almost any other year of any TV.
Yeah, so this is one of the comedies I was talking about, but there's also moments of drama.
Touche. Yeah, it's very dramedy for sure.
But yeah, this one just completely nails the tone of professional wrestling. Like it gets it. It knows that people are tuning in for the drama of it and not athleticism, which is respectable. And that's why I watch, because sometimes you do stick around to watch wrestling to see those, spectacle moments of acrobatism and stuff like that. Like you acrobatics. That's the word I'm looking for. How many words? Again, that's 3 words. You fuck up. Anyway, Progadal. So this show is just incredible. When I heard it was Genji Cohen doing it, who did Weeds and Orange is the New Black, shows that were out their welcome, but I mean, it just kind of felt like, in my opinion, sorry for the Orange is the New Black fans, but
no. Both of those shows definitely were out there welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Weeds had a really strong start. Like I liked it.
Did
the first
4 seasons were amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then it Dextered off. Yeah.
Oh god.
I don't know what that means, but if Dexter does that, I want nothing part of that.
Exactly.
I still say with Dexter, just watch the first 4 seasons and you'll be satisfied.
Yeah, that's it.
And
you
just
don't need to watch
right
any seasons after 4.
Seasons 3 and 4 are some of my favorite like villains on television ever.
4 specifically, like, John Lithgow as a serial killer.
Whoa, what? That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
he
won awards for that. Like he was so good in that role.
Never even heard that. That's crazy.
I get chills.
In Glow, I love seeing familiar faces that I can watch it and go, oh hey look, that's so and so who wrestled in WWE or another organization. Like there's a part where I forget the actress's name and the character's name, but the blonde girl who was Alison Brie's friend in it.
Liberty Bale.
Yeah, Liberty Bale. She goes and talks to an actual wrestler who, she eventually borks, and that's my favorite word. And he's a legit wrestler. He is formerly WWE. And I was like, oh man, this guy couldn't act in WWE, so I wonder how this is going to. And he was fine. He was fine. It's a show. You gotta remember too that TV shows aren't as demanding acting wise for certain bit parts.
Sure.
But regardless, it's just cool to see like people that I'm like, oh my god, I know that guy. Like, and they're actual wrestlers. And Chavo Guerrero was the main trainer behind the scenes for all the women. So like they were legitimately doing a lot of their own stunts. Like Alison Brie, like the lead people were doing a lot of their own stunts and moves, and he taught them that. Which is awesome. This is totally... They call the show Glow, but it's totally different from how the actual real Glow started. So it's like its own thing, but it's... the spirit of it is there. It's about the ladies of wrestling creating their own show and telling ludicrous stories. And, neon pink and all that shit. There's a lot of style to it. Love Mark Maron's character. It's just a really great show, man. I love it. I love the shit out of it. I can't wait for season 2. And I don't know if anybody new is joining the season, but I'm psyched. And we did get a really good...
Go back and watch...
Go back and watch what?
Oh, I was going to say, go back and watch Maron season 1, and then watch Glow, and just look how far like Maron has come in terms of like comfortability in front of a camera.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good point. I need to do that.
I'm not saying he's amazing or anything, but like just in terms of just like, oh wow, you're a serviceable like character actor now. That's cool.
He's definitely known for a part. I loved I loved how 80s it was. Not just that it was in the 80s, but like when they went to the rich fucking guy's house to like raid the closet and get costumes and stuff and to find their characters. The dude had like a 80s robot there and shit, and it was just like the most Miami Vice-ish house you could pick out. It was so perfect. Yeah, I love it. It's so fucking silly, and that's professional wrestling, and they just get it, man. And that's why I responded so positively to it. So that's my number 7. JD, what's your number 6?
Put Black Mirror at number 6.
We're still pushing.
Push a little bit.
Wow.
Pushing a little bit.
It around.
Yep. Kyle, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is, I guess it's getting pushed again, Better Call Saul.
Yeah, slight push. Yep.
Is it your number 5 or?
Yeah, it is.
You can talk about it then. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to, sure, let's do it. Better Call Saul.
Nice.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh,
The floor is yours.
it was real good. I like it. The end. No, I mean, I could, there were 2 or 3 episodes this season. It's just like, man, this is some of the best television ever.
It is,
and it took like a season off, season 2, and I think we're in season 4 now. And it came back really strong last season, and then this season was really good. It's just like, man, like Breaking Bad levels of good. It was just super, super good. We're not worthy. We're not worthy of this we're not worthy of that ending. We're not worthy of that courtroom episode. Right. We're not worthy of that style of television, and we're getting it. Every episode doesn't feel wasted. I thought the pacing was really good this season.
Right.
It's just like you were there the entire time for every step of the story.
Remember when what's his name? Nacho? Taco? Taco's from
Nacho.
the league again.
It's Nacho.
That's right. Nacho was trying to sneak false drugs or whatever.
Oh my gosh, he's trying to switch the
that whole sequence was like, don't blink, like don't breathe. It's so goddamn stressful. It's so good.
And he's like preparing for it the whole episode, and like you're still not ready for it. You don't think he's ready for it. I don't know. There's just a lot of tension.
Yeah, there
in
is some doubt in his. He wears it. The actor wears it. You can see it in his mannerisms and stuff.
Such a good actor.
You watched him fail at practicing the slip like 20 times in a row, where he's trying to like walk by the jacket. So
he tries so many times.
He does.
True, man. I mean, think of how like hard that
get
would be
a
to
dustpan
pull up.
or whatever. You're like, sit the fuck down, dude. It's so good. And you mentioned that courtroom scene, which is the entire. That's an entire episode, and that's we see Huel. Is that his name?
Huel.
He's good for the actor for losing weight, or I guess he's a comedian, stand-up comedian, Lavelle Crawford. Yeah. It's cool to see him in great shape. He shows up, and you see how his relationship started with Slippin' Jimmy, Slippy, whatever the fuck his
Slippin' Jimmy.
Slippin' Jimmy.
Yeah.
Slippy Jimmy.
Slippy Jimmy.
Is he in Star Fox now?
Yeah.
That was a great episode though, and the tension was really high too, because the whole time you're like, how the fuck is Saul gonna dig his way out of this hole? Because he was in a hole that entire case. They built quite a case against him, and he had to, unfortunately, at the risk of like just shattering their brotherhood, he totally just like went there. He went there in terms of Chuck's disease, quote unquote disease, which is completely meant like psychological,
psychosomatic.
Yeah, and it's really shitty. But that show. That's the thing with great shows like this, is like these characters are complex and they're not necessarily good or evil. It's the thing with *Halt and Catch Fire* that I love too, where they do a lot of questionable things, but it's for a certain gain, whether it's personal, professional, and you kind of relate to it on a certain level. Like I'm kind of like watching Saul like berate his brother's perceived illness, and I'm kind of like, yeah, you go, Saul, and then you see how Chuck handles it, and you're like, fuck, I feel so bad now. Like this show does so well at that, even though Chuck was a dick the whole fucking show.
Totally.
They do so well at making you feel bad. And I love Mike's story with Gus, too. It's spoilers, I guess, if you guys haven't seen the season. But the fact that we're getting Gus back, I love it. I love it so much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What a build up to, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You see him kind of just walking around in the background. You never see his face or whatever up until like the end of the sequence. When I think it was Saul that was sent in to the restaurant to like kind of scope it out. And what's his name? Gus is like walking around in the background, and you can tell it's him because it's the manager outfit, and you're like, oh shit, like it's just, God, it's so fucking beautifully directed. I don't know if Vince Gilligan's doing all of that or if it's just whoever he hires, but they really do a good job at standing out above all of all the other great TV that's out there. Like they do such a good job. It's a great show. Very curious to see what happens in the next season. I assume it's going to be 5 seasons like Breaking Bad, so I'm very curious for the season this year. JD, where did you have that again? You had that at 7?
I had it 7, yeah.
So I had it at 5, and Kyle had it at 6. So we're going to my 6 now. Again, a show that I don't think is on either of your lists, but you've already admitted, bless you, I think. Was that a sneeze? I think it was.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Or a dick fart. I don't know. I think you both have admittedly said like, oh shit, we should have watched that or whatever. But my number 6 is Mr. Robot. This season, it's fine. Look, you guys, it's okay. You'll see it eventually.
Okay. Oh, I thought you meant like just the season. It's just been okay. It's like
no. I mean, don't beat yourself up about it. But
he forgives us.
This was a great fucking season, and I remember putting season 2 in my 10 last year. It was on the lower part of the 10, but I remember getting, or at least reading, so much hate about season 2, and I still loved it. And this is even better than season 2, like much better. It's straightforward, just suspense thriller. And there are 2 episodes in here that one of them is straight up just a 40, 50 minute, however long the episodes are, movie, because you have this character, Mr. Robot, Elliot, the main character. He's going through, he's in this rough spot, and then he just happens to encounter this kid that he kind of ends up stuck with, like obligated to hang out with, and He kind of goes through his own little journey in that a miniature journey, if you will, in that episode, and fucking cried at the end of it. It was so good. It was so fucking deep. It was on an emotional level. It was really good. And then there's one episode before that where there's like a heist. The organization, the hacker organization or whatever, is taking over this corporation, at least one of their headquarters. And it's all single take. The entire episode's a single take, like a continuous shot. And I don't know how the fuck they did that. And there's no commercials. Like USA is just like, yeah, just fuck it. Just do whatever you want. And they just fucking aired it like that. And now they say fuck in every episode. It's like no big deal.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy what this show has turned into. USA is just like, your show's amazing. Why not just give you everything
South
you
Parked
want?
our network, so thank you.
Exactly.
Allowed to do whatever you want. Yeah.
Oh man, but it's so fucking good. I can't believe how good it is. Like, because I was worried. Like, people were kind of like, there's a lot of loose ends here, and they tied them up really good. And there's still seasons coming out, but it's just the fact that they left it on a note where you're not kind of questioning literally everything, because that's how season 2 ended. You're like questioning everything about what you just saw. And season 3 kind of ties everything up a little bit nice and neat. And Bobby Cannavale, whatever, from Boardwalk Empire, and he's been in some other shit, Master of None this year. He is a great addition too. He's like a car salesman or whatever, but he's mostly a cleaner for the hacking group. Like whenever somebody gets killed or whatever, he cleans up the scene. And he talks like this. Hey, how you doing? Like he's such a nerd. It's
funny.
It's crazy. It's a crazy departure for him. He's such a great addition to the cast. Yeah, it is. It's fucking weird. He's got the glasses and he's like, hey, how you doing?
Because normally he's a little closer to like Ray's brother from
a little bit.
Everybody Loves Raymond. He's got like a lower like nasally. Hey, Bobby Cannavale.
Yeah. He's so good in the show. Great addition. Not like season 2 had Craig Robinson in it for a little bit, and yeah, I mean, if you're watching the show week to week, I can see you getting impatient with season 2. But if you binge that season, I think it will be rewarding. I think it'll be awesome. But Craig Robinson was like, on paper, what the fuck is he doing on the show? And even when he finishes his guest stint, you're like, what's he doing? What was he doing on that show? Like, why was he there? But Bobby Cannavale, I'm like, please don't disappear from the show. He's so good. He's so good in this show. Great season. So JD, what's your number 5?
Stranger Things number 2.
Just a little bit of a push.
That's just a little push?
Bit,
okay.
Just a little push.
Not even in my honorable mentions. All right.
I guess everything on my list is just too fucking low.
Yeah, we're pushing nonstop. Kyle, what's your number 5?
My number 5, neither of y'all will push this. This is going to be good. It's Taboo.
Yeah.
I need to
forgot
watch
that was
that,
this
man.
year. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that was this year. Oh, long year.
It would have very long. This came out in January. So
Yeah.
Tom Hardy wore a mask in that one too?
Man, just a really good. Hey, JD, can I maybe watch it with subtitles?
Yeah.
You know what? I've kind of gotten in that habit lately because,
Good. He just grumbles through everything, but that's his character, and I think he's a really cool character. I think he's awesome, and this entire show like kind of progresses like a chess match or whatever. They're both very, very smart people. The guy, like the priest, the red priest or whatever, not the red priest, what was that guy's name in Game of Thrones? The white priest?
Oh, the high sparrow.
High sparrow. Thank you. Yeah. He was just but him
he's
and
the villain again, right?
Yeah, he's the villain in this. He's just really smart in this show, and what's his face? Tom Hardy is really smart. There's just a couple of really smart dudes trying to outplay each other.
Yeah.
And the last episode is just awesome. Like, it's just a really good shootout scene, and they're just trying to get on a boat and get to America. My favorite thing that's standing out of this entire show is just like the set design and everything. Like, everyone is so grotesquely like of the time, like just grime all over their face, missing teeth, hair like just all shitty, just like wearing really rundown clothes, and then like the sets look like really lived in and gross and muddy and stuff like that. And it's just like a lot of attention to detail that a lot of shows just don't have. Like, I didn't even recognize some actors because like they were so deformed by like the makeup and everything like that, in a very good way.
There's one actress from the Bourne movies that I'm like, oh, that's her? Get the fuck out of here. Yeah,
wow.
They made her look. mean, she was one of the prostitutes, I think, or a lead prostitute or something like that. And yeah, I don't know. They just purposely made her kind of look gross.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of gross people. In
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
A lot of really
Everybody's
cool
a little
quotes, man. Just good writing, and it sets up for. Because they're going to be getting involved with some pirates next season, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Ooh, man. Just when Black Sails ends.
I know,
like, hey.
exactly. One pirate hell ends and another one begins. So, yeah, good show, man. Really excited. It was up like near the top of my list for a while until these other shows started happening. So
yeah, and then these other shows had the nerve to come out this year.
Yeah,
fucking assholes. So my number 5 was Better Call Saul, and we discussed that. We discussed it. So JD, what's your number 4?
Master of None. Oh my God!
Yeah, we're gonna do a slight push.
I know.
We're gonna do
I know. I know that.
Yeah, we'll push.
wow.
Good shit.
All right. So what's your number 4, Kyle?
My number 4, we just pushed it. It's Stranger Things season 2. Man,
hello.
this show is just a warm, nostalgic hug. That's all it is.
It is. I love it.
I like their whole philosophy of, remember that thing we had one of last year? Let's do the aliens thing and bring back 60 of them.
Yeah.
It just pays every
They're
single
smaller
decision
this
is just a
time, but there's
decision
more.
that's paid an homage. Exactly, smaller and not as lethal. You know.
Yeah.
So every decision that they make is just like a decision based in nostalgic, or just like based in trying to get a shot that, like, you know, reminds you of Stand By Me or something like that. A lot of walking up train tracks in this season. Yeah, I just really like this show, man. I like it a lot, and I think this season was great. You know, I think a lot of people poo-pooed a lot of, it just wasn't as good as the first season.
They definitely shat on that episode where the Eleven hangs
especially
out with
that
her,
episode. Yeah,
her superpowered whatever sister or whatever. And
sure,
I like that episode a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I like that episode.
Yeah.
Fine. And it's probably going to play into the next season. So you know,
I would imagine.
I just really don't like shitting on like stories that aren't done being told. Oh, it just didn't make any sense. Yeah, yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not like this is a week-to-week format show. Like, I would get that frustration if you had to sit on that episode for a week and you're away from those characters for 2 weeks. But
that's the other thing. They're like, oh, it just ruins the pacing because one thing is happening in one episode. Then you get this episode, and then you get back to the. Well, you couldn't wait an hour?
show.
You couldn't wait 50 minutes to like get a. Okay, I mean that just says something about your patience, and it does the quality of the show.
Right.
Fine though.
Impatient
Really like
fucks.
this season, though. I mean, I think they really delivered, and you know, I was afraid that it was just not going to be anywhere near as good as the first season, and I thought it was. I thought they just really doubled down on everything that made the first season good. So,
Yep.
Absolutely. I still didn't put it on honorable mentions when people pointed out the similarities to season 1 a little bit. I was just kind of like, okay, well, yeah, that's enough. I mean, when you kind of have to split hairs and be like, oh, I don't have enough room to list every single show I've watched, that's what I ended up kind of coming to in terms of leaving it off.
you hate the show,
mentions.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get
so
it.
basically I hate Stranger Things is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Stranger Things, more like terrible things.
Yeah, season 3, more like not for me.
And I have to give a shout out to both the actress who plays Eleven, Millie Bobby Brown, and David Harbour, who plays the chief, whatever the fuck his name is.
Oh yeah, dude,
Because
he's the
their
best.
scene together when they're fighting with each other after she comes back from her adventure, the first time that she goes away, and he's like yelling at her and stuff. There's so much good shit going on in that scene.
Oh yeah.
Because he doesn't know how to be a good parent to this person who has never really had parents. It's complicated. And she doesn't understand it either because she's only had, scientists poking and prodding her. So, yeah, it's
all new.
Exactly. For people to be like, I don't care who her mother is and all this stuff. I just don't understand that stance at all. Like, you'd rather
everyone
she just be an
cares
enigma.
who their mother is, and if you don't, there's probably something wrong with you.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's such a weird stance. I'm sorry. Like, it's just every character is going to have a backstory. I apologize, I guess, that you feel so sour about 11 getting one too. It's so weird to me that people are upset. Oh, who gives a shit about her mother? Just let her go destroy things or whatever.
No, she probably cares. Whatever, it's fine.
And her reunion with that was a great moment. I got chills when she reunited with everybody, especially Finn. What's Finn Wolfhard's character name?
Mike.
Mike. There we go.
Yeah.
That was a great reunion and stuff. And Max was a nice addition too. She's
Yeah.
not a bullshitter. I like her.
Yeah, I like
Great.
her too.
Yeah. Good season, man. It was
What was what's his face's name? Samwise Gamgee's name in this show?
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, the greatest addition of the
Yeah,
entire show.
yeah.
Bob,
For sure,
So,
for sure.
Perfect meme.
100% Bob. All in
perfect.
on Bob.
Yeah.
Well,
the hero
I mean-
everybody deserves. Not the one that we need right now, though. Apparently.
Not the one we need
spoilers
going
on Bob's
forward.
fate, I guess. But his death was totally telegraphed. I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, the second he walked on screen, you're like, oh, this guy's dying.
It's true. It's true. How long is this guy
Oh
gonna
yeah,
last?
he's
please?
dating the mom from the first. Oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
dead,
you're
dude.
dead. You're fucking dead. At least he was smart though. Like he had this whole. Was he in Goonies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
So yeah, like that's the thing. He had like a
One of the
character trait
references there.
from Goonies, like where he's just kind of like helping read a map and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so basically it's just a Goonies kid. Like
just
he's just
no.
grown up.
But he
This
even says he
moment that
goes-
he sat there with that map, and he's like, "Oh, it's a map," and he sits there. I'm like, "Oh my god, my entire body feels like it's at home right now."
Yeah,
He even called out to it too. He said, "What's at the X? Buried treasure?" Like,
Yeah.
totally.
come on.
totally.
IGN has a video
Nudge.
about all the Easter eggs from the season, and there's more than what's just on the surface, and you have to kind of like observe things in the background, and you're like, holy shit, look at that Easter egg, and it's pretty cool. I think it's cool. Some people that are like fed up with nostalgia in general and feeling good things from their past, like people get ready for when Ready Player One approaches release, because people are going to shit on that, on all this nostalgia and stuff. I like it though. Like it's, scarcely used. Like it's Stranger Things still feels fresh by itself. It's not all nostalgia, which is ridiculous if people say that. I said it. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
So my number 4 is a show that's already been mentioned. It's Black Mirror. So I guess we can't push it anymore.
No.
Oh, we got a fourth guest. He wants to push it. Oh, hell yeah. Stone Cold loves Black Mirror. I put this kind of high, man, obviously, but even with this season having my least favorite episode in it, which is one episode of the entire series, it's still, that's how fucking good it is compared to the competition. Like, that's how good every other episode is.
And it seems like people like the episode that you don't like, because I'm not the
Really?
biggest fan of it either. But they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I like it when things are gross and morose like that." I'm like, "Well, okay, all right."
I mean, they kind of waste the technology. Or talking about episode 3, JD.
Three, yeah.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with
what's the name of it?
Crocodile.
Crocodile. Thank you. It just feels like, I mean, that's a great idea for a show for this show, but it just doesn't. I feel like they don't use it in a way that feels powerful at all. Like it's just
No,
kind of like,
text in the
oh, this bitch
background.
kills people, and that's it. It's
No,
just
and
kinda
that's what it
there.
all boils down to. Is this
Yeah.
girl goes on a murder spree? Like she just
Yeah.
can't stop killing people to like cover up her first murder. And it's just like,
Right. She just
Okay.
continues to make dumb decisions, like the
yeah,
entire episode.
unrelatably dumb decisions.
Yeah. And then the technology takes a stupid turn, because you need to calm people and make them think of a certain memory. By the way, this episode uses a recurring song from Black Mirror. I don't know why this song is played so much, but that one song, that song that the girl sang in episode 2 in front of the judges.
Oh.
I can't remember, but I can't remember the name of the song. But anyway, they play it so many episodes. Like they played it in White Christmas and stuff. That was a song you kept listening to, I think. Anyway,
Interesting.
yeah, that. Anyway, Black Mirror, the crocodile episode. She just made dumb decisions, man. And then the technology. Here's where I was going with it. The technology suddenly works on guinea pigs. Like when you really need that human element for the technology to work, as they established in the episode. So that doesn't make sense to me. That it's like, oh, don't worry, let's just check out the guinea pig. I'm sure we can have it smell something and it'll remember. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, remember they have to be like lullabied into the memory.
Right.
Yeah.
So despite
Anyways,
that
whatever.
episode, though, this one still had the this is it Starfleet? Was that the name of the fake show from episode 1? You still had that episode, which is incredible. Episode 4 made me feel things on a whole other level than any other
Dude,
TV show
no
did this
kidding.
year.
I loved everything
Best
about
episode of
that
TV this year.
Yeah,
It
for
was
real, dude.
Great.
Yeah, it's up there with some of the best easily. And the chemistry between those two leads was just palpable. Like, are they fucking for real? They like they were just so good together, and like for the women, they had this attractive dude who just wants love or whatever, and for us dudes, we're looking at that girl going, yeah, she's the perfect person, like,
right,
to date or / marry or whatever, like, because she's so fucking funny. And I love that they made a plot point out of the guy that she was with for a year going after he drinks water. That was so fucking funny to me. That was very Curb Your Enthusiasm, because that is a legit plot point in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
in a later season. My mom, she always goes, after she takes a drink, I need you to talk to her, because I know you're the kind of guy that would say something like that. It's so fucking good. What? You want me on a crusade? I'm not doing that. I fucking love that show. Not in my 10, though, unfortunately. That's how busy this year was.
Yeah.
Even though I love that series this year. Honorable mention, easily.
Honorable for sure.
Yeah, but Black Mirror, though, I loved the simplicity of episode 5, too. I was kind of bothered by the lack of a premise to the robot dog thing. Like I thought, or backstory, I should say. And then Kyle brought up the fact that these are real things. Like, these are real dogs
the
being
DARPA
made
dogs,
and stuff. And that's what they could evolve to. So that's where the backstory is. Like, you just have to think of where things are now and then just be like, here's where they could be.
And then one day they just decided they wanted to kill us.
Exactly.
After we equipped them with guns and the ability to sweat and all this other shit. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's the backstory right there. You need is just reality. So it's just a very simple thriller, and I liked it. I liked the shit out of it too. It was very stylistic in terms of its black and whiteness.
Oh yeah, black and white always plays well.
And the 6th one has all the references in the world to it. I felt like it was kind of a series finale of sorts, a little bit.
You see the lollipop from one of the DNA things that they had in the first episode. That was cool.
Yeah, you see, there's a part where the guy who has his wife in his head during his story.
Oh man, that was interesting as shit.
It was. He's reading a comic. And the comic says 15M merits, and it's got the Daniel Kaluuya from the 15 Million Merits.
Yeah.
Second episode of the season. So like series. So that like everything ties together in this one episode. Basically, there's references to everything in it, and it feels like the ending of that episode was kind of like a we're burning it all down type of thing, where they could, if they opted to not come back for another season, it would be like that's the finale.
That was the end. Yeah.
Right. And it wouldn't feel out of place, and I wouldn't feel gypped.
That.
I know I hate that idea.
I feel gypped. I'm never going to get more of it. If that's the case, but if it had to end, I guess.
The fact that they didn't announce any other seasons yet, I'm kind of like, that's weird, because season 4 was already announced as season 3 was streaming and we were watching it. So I find it strange that we haven't heard anything yet. At the same time, though, I guess Stranger Things didn't get renewed until like 3 months after it streamed season 2. So you never know. I would love for them to come back, and I love that they use these like names that direct. Like Jodie Foster directed an episode. John Hillcoat, who did 999, he did the shitty crocodile one. But the point is that he's a good director. There's just people that are names like that direct the episodes. And David Slade did the guy who did Hard Candy is the one that did the dog one, the robot dog one.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Really good shit. And I totally skipped over the mother one, the Archangel one.
I like that one.
But I do love that premise, man. It's a little too real. Like I feel like we could actually get there. Like I do feel like that felt like the most plausible episode. Whereas in episode 3, you have somebody doing dumb shit. And then episode 6, you have technology that exists, and you're like, why would you use it? Like having somebody's consciousness put in your head feels.
No, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even if you're doing it for a kid or something, like I want my daughter to know that her mother's still there or whatever. It's like you're gonna get sick of that shit. Like after like a week. So
she would have never come off pause for me.
Never.
Like,
right.
Pause. Sorry. Like you're done. She was so annoying.
I love that first episode a lot, though. The 4th one and the first one are standouts for me. Some of the best television all year on their own. And that first episode, I was telling Kyle as I was watching it, like it made me want to never run over random pedestrians in GTA again because maybe they're plotting against me next time I visit the game.
Code.
Yeah, they're just chilling in the game, going, "Where's that fucking guy that runs over all of us?" Oh boy,
He'll be back.
He'll be back. Yeah, it's such a great man. It was a great season, and I don't think it was like their best season. Like season 3 was maybe better, but episode 4 is one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. So I don't know. It's tough to kind of rank it.
Yeah.
In terms of the other seasons, especially when you have season 1 with the 15 million merits and the entire history of you, which are just utterly like just the best television episodes of anything. Episodes of anything, period.
The entire history of you is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me mad. Like when I watch it, I'm just like, yeah, this is why I don't write anymore.
Yeah. Like, why bother? This guy thought of everything that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's the same writer for like every episode, which is crazy. Like he just thinks of it and writes it, and it makes sense. Like these characters aren't complete. They're not, mostly this season at least. They're not complete idiots or whatever. They feel like realized people with motivations and dark side and shit like that. It's good stuff, man. That's my number 4, Black Mirror. That's y'all's. Kyle, that's your number 8, and JD's number 6. So we all love that show.
Snuck in there just in time.
Just in time. That's why we pushed back. That's why we did the box office thing first. So JD, what's your number 3?
A little show called Fargo that you guys got me in on.
Damn
it! How did I know that was just gonna happen? It's like it's.
I'm glad you.
Fuck me,
I'm
right?
glad you finished
Did
it
you
because
even
you
watch
finished
that
it
show,
recently.
JD? 3? Come on, man.
You have to let it
I
sit with you,
I can
though,
justify
honestly.
it. I can justify it. Okay. Yeah,
Because your number 1's Justified. Is that why? No, I'm just kidding.
It is. It is. Yes. Boyd Crowder. Let me tell you.
Smooth talking redneck. So Kyle, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Sense8.
Oh, nice. Fuck yeah. You represented
Sense8.
it when Netflix wouldn't, so that's good.
I'm repping it when Netflix wouldn't, and I like how they're like, we're never gonna like listen. I think it's the very first time a petition has ever worked, like in the history of ever.
Yep.
And it makes me mad because every time I'm like, when I see people are like, oh, petitioning to get less shit, I just want to be like, that's never worked, and I go, oh, it worked for Sense8 though.
It did. It fucking did.
It really did.
They're
Yeah. So think about that, I guess, everybody, because it's coming back. It's coming back for
It's
one
back.
episode,
We
for
have
one
to go
movie.
back. I'll take it.
And it had to, because the way it ends, you're just like, yes,
Yeah.
we're
y'all
going to
had
war.
It was such
Not wanting
a
to get
good
into
cliffhanger.
at all.
Yeah, man, what a show this is. Just beautifully shot. Just, I mean, the characters are amazing. You feel weird whenever they have sex with each other. Like you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
this is
there's
nice.
a lot of bisexual sex, and it's weird because it's
weird because you're always into it, and it's just
Yep.
like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah, you're like,
really
why
well
is
shot
this
or whatever. It's
why is this hot
it's
as
really
shit?
weird. It makes you feel weird. You gotta stare at yourself in the mirror and kind of psych yourself up sometimes. Afterwards, you know what you like, Kyle. Anyways, but the show's about that. It's about sexuality, and it's about just accepting who you are, and family, and all that stuff. So it's really good. I just really love it. It's
Me
like
too.
one of my favorite shows to exist. Like I think it's fucking awesome.
Wachowski's
And
do it again.
the Wachowskis got boned, out of telling like a full.
I think
the
one of
full
the
story.
Wachowskis actually left the show
They did?
for personal reasons or whatever, and it didn't phase the quality like at all.
Not even kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
Second
last like
season's
10
really rad.
minutes, I think, like so much happens in that finale. It's
Oh yeah.
it's bonkers, and you don't see it coming, and that's what the brilliance of it and why it's such a great fist pumping moment. And I don't think JD's seen it, right?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're gonna just leave it at that. But yeah, it's fucking great.
It's cool.
sweet.
Yeah.
And I love this idea of meeting other clusters and stuff. That's really
Me too.
interesting.
That's
and how
some of the
they
best
can interact
parts.
with you, and how there's rules there too. Like you can't. There's certain rules with like touching or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or you have to see each other in the face to actually be a part of a cluster. I'm trying to remember. There's certain rules.
That's
though,
right. No, you have to like see each other to like. Yeah,
in person
right.
for realsies.
But
before
the whole
you can,
cluster can see if one person from them. It's something weird like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's the
there's
thing.
rules.
There's a lot of universe building in this, and it's
Yeah.
just really complex. For a show about
Mhm.
people who share each other's mind spaces while occupying.
Right. And season
world
1
that
did
they're-
so much character work that season 2 had the opportunity to just focus on the concept and
Yeah.
who the enemy is and what they're fighting against.
And it really worked for its advantage. Yeah.
It's great shit, man. I'm glad it's so high. I didn't even have room for it on honorable mentions. I feel like a shithead.
You're awful, Jeff.
I'm terrible. People like me is why I get canceled.
That's why it's done, Jeff.
So my number 3, and this is going to be a push for JD, I'm pretty sure, since Fargo was 3, is The Leftovers.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm next, right?
Yeah, you're next.
Yeah, it's my number 2. So
I
let's
still
talk
play the
about that
music,
shit.
so fuck it.
Pull it back.
You should play it anyways, as many times
Pull
as
it
you
back.
I
can.
legit have no idea what JD's number 1 is, and I like that. Oh, never mind. I know.
Yeah, you do.
I'm an idiot now. I'm a fucking moron
You
because I
pushed
said
it earlier.
I did push it earlier.
We could all sing the song right now.
Dum
I'm
dum
stupid.
dum 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 dum
Ding,
dum
ding,
dum.
dongs. So your number 2 then is Leftovers. It's my number 3, man. That's
Sure enough.
Talk
God,
about
man.
what a delivery of a final season. Like, hey,
Right. You got the leftovers, right?
and it wasn't like
Wait, hold on. Leftovers or Halt or Catch Fire?
Ooh, fuck
me.
you.
Fuck you. That's the answer. Fuck you. Watch The Good Place.
Honestly,
That's my answer.
honestly,
You know what? I'm never gonna watch that show. So.
Oh, bummer.
Halt and Catch Fire
Is
is
it
probably
funny?
going
Is
to
it
be
really
easier
funny?
for you
Yeah,
to
it's great.
digest.
The Good Place is really funny.
Yep, that's in my honorable
Okay,
mentions.
no,
Yeah.
that's totally fair. I will.
I've
I'm not
totally
gonna-
written off every good thing that anybody's ever said about that show.
Me
for
too.
no
Same
reason.
here. That's why when Jeff was just like, "The Good Place," I'm like, "Fuck you," because it just seems so stupid. Oh, it's a Kristen Bell.
Yeah,
show?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's great, and it
Okay,
really
cool.
grew into something else in season 2. The season 2 has been monumentally in typical TV fashion. Season 2 is really when show writers and stuff like that feel like taking chances and or they settle into a groove. And I feel like season 2 is really when it's starting to hit its stride. Season 1 is great. Overall, it's good overall because it is a good place, right? But it ends on this note that you're like, whoa, I didn't see that shit coming at all. And then season 2 picks up from where that left off, and it hasn't lost steam since. It's really great. Like, it's honorable mention worthy for me. Sorry, The Leftovers.
The not so good place.
Yeah, no.
Leftovers.
There's the place they go to. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't
God,
know. What do we
man.
call it? I mean, even like that's you just go to a place that's not here.
You guys didn't
basically.
answer my question though. Like, if I had to start one, what's-
I would say Halt and Catch Fire will be your most normal viewing experience, but if you want your mind blown over and over again, you
yeah, but
gotta
is it
watch
like your
Leftovers.
mind blown like Lost does, where it just strings you along, or is this like really mind
No,
blowing
it
stuff?
pays off. Lindelof learned his fucking lesson.
Yeah, he did.
He really
That's
learned
the
his lesson.
thing we talked about earlier. How we referenced it earlier. How he this was like his redemption basically because the finale is so fucking good. The finale,
Even the second episode before the one before the finale was amazing.
it was, and it made no sense. I mean,
None.
in terms of on the surface, you really have to do a lot of research for this show. It's very demanding.
Yeah.
Kind
Good.
of reminded me of Twin Peaks and stuff, or David Lynch work, because you're watching it going, I know there's something here. I know there's
That I'm
substance
missing.
to what's
Yeah.
happening right now.
Man.
It's a spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Even if you're not religious at all, it will make you question your existence.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
seriously,
that's
it will.
I like that.
I think you'd love it, Kyle.
Yeah.
I
Justin
just-
Theroux's great. He's
Well,
really
I've got
good.
2 good shows I can watch now. So cool.
This show, I'm glad we represented it so highly because got totally gypped at the Emmys. Not one nomination. Not even for Carrie
don't
Coon,
understand.
who kills it in this show. She got nominated for Fargo, rightfully so, but
Well,
she-
yeah, come on.
yeah, of course. But
betcha.
Leftovers was even more demanding performance, and she delivers it times 10. It's fucking crazy how good she is in this show.
Her character is just
Nora, yeah.
Oh my
so
God.
awesome. Again, a show filled with complex, fully realized characters that feel like they have their own things going on, and you're never once going like that character wouldn't do that, or,
Right.
or something like
Right.
that. Or if they do
Right.
something fucked up, you're not kind of going whatever to it. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I love it though. I love Justin Theroux in this. I don't think he's done anything on this level before, any period,
No.
to this extent of quality. And who plays his dad? Stick plays his dad.
oh shit, yeah, the guy from
yeah, Daredevil.
the guy from the
I'm
Hand.
gonna
Yeah.
show you how to be a kick-ass blind guy.
Yeah, he still has a component of that, of being the The guy who's always giving advice, even if it's shitty advice.
Well, his is like
gotta go
drugged
kill
out
him.
advice.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, just coming down off an LSD trip. Let me tell you about your life. You're like, what the fuck? Okay, sure.
Such a
Good
great
advice
show.
right there. That pull up a chair.
And this is another one, kind of like *Halt and Catch Fire* and *The Good Place*, that the first season is not the strongest, even though it was enough to get me sucked into the show, because I wanted answer. Like you want answers, but at the same time, you're more caught up in the journey of the characters, you know.
Right.
And I think
Right.
that's what the writers intended too, based on the finale. Like they weren't interested in giving you straight answers. They gave you answers, but they're not like answers that you think. They're not like what if you watch it expecting everybody to find out what happened, like why did everybody disappear? Why did some type of rapture happen or whatever? It's not going to get answered. It's not that kind of show.
It was never about the why. It was always about the fallout.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, and they handled it beautifully. And I love the score so much. The main theme of The Leftovers, it's so fucking hauntingly beautiful.
Yep.
God damn it. And yeah, I love it when Justin Theroux goes to other places. It's weird place. It's very it feels David Lynchian. Like it feels like that what's the room that Cooper goes to in Twin Peaks?
The Red Room?
The Red Room.
Sorry,
it's that type of, you know what I'm talking about. The
Dark
Lodge,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's that type of shit where it's
the
like
Red Room is like the waiting room that they're in.
Oh, right. It's that type of shit where they go somewhere else entirely, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening?" It's so cool.
I like that stuff. That's my
love
favorite.
that stuff. Yeah, that's why it's so high for us. So that's your number 2, JD. Kyle, what's your number 2? Were we just talking about it?
No, my number 2 was Fargo.
Cool.
That's my number 1.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my
Okay,
number 1.
we'll
is
talk
Fargo.
about that in a bit then.
Oh yeah, we can. Okay, I'll just play the music. Fuck it.
Yeah, play that music.
So my
that
number
funky
2
beat.
then was pushed earlier. It's Master of None. It made it this high.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Oh my
Oh my god.
No
Yeah, that's
way.
crazy.
Look, this season, the more I've thought, I haven't even watched it again, and I've been dying to watch.
I need to so bad.
Yeah. But this season specifically, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, he did so much to stand out. Like this show did so much to stand out, with each episode having its own identity and stuff like that, and being incredibly memorable. You have there's like 4 or 5 episodes that are incredible. You have the bicycle thief episode homage, which is the first episode where it's black and white in Italy, and he learned Italian. Good for him. And and they legitimately were in Italy, and he's trying to find his phone more or less and hang out with a kid. And that's when you meet Francesca, who is like everybody's darling, basically.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And another episode that's great is not the one after it, but it's the one after that, I think, where it's the dating app one.
Yeah.
he's going on
yeah.
dates
Where
over and over again.
all the dates are happening on top of each other. Yeah,
exactly. And the entire like last, it's like this lonely like long shot at the end of him just in a cab, an Uber alone, and you're like, how long is this shot gonna linger? Like now I just feel uncomfortable. Like that's single life, you know, that when you're trying on the level that he's trying, that's single life. And how he in that episode doesn't he fuck somebody? He sees a statue that's racist, and he like sleeps with her, and then after the fact he's like, hey, that's a pretty racist statue, right? And she's like, you still had sex with me? Despite this racist statue.
That's right.
That was so great. There was another episode where it focuses on New York citizens that were just like, you know, the deaf people that were saying vagina and stuff.
Oh,
It
that
so
was a
fucking
great
funny.
episode.
That all
Yeah.
just leads to them all being in the theater.
Yes.
That's the connection later. Yeah,
and
that
it was like
so
about
good.
a movie that was like Get Out or something. Like it was that the movie that everybody kept talking about, and it felt like it was it was like that show's version of Get Out. Like it was
Sure.
like a horror movie that came out of nowhere. It's a sensation. Everybody's talking about it, but the less you know, the better. Anyway, which I thought was a nice touch. And they focus on the bellman or whatever, who finally tells off a shitty whatever you call those people, resident. I don't know what you call those people that live there.
That's right, resident.
Yeah. And then you have the episode where it's just him and Francesca hanging out, having friend dates, and it's romantic as fuck. And it's it's like a whole hour long, I think, or even longer. And you just want to stay with them along. Like their chemistry, like makes that episode fly by. It's so goddamn good. God, that's such a great episode. It's so ballsy to just be like, you know what, fuck it, this one's an hour long, and to just do that. The Thanksgiving episode, of course, is probably one of the best ones in television. Period. Right now, like in from this year, the writing was so incredible. It's just so goddamn good, man. And I like the finale too. I like the very, very last shot, like, and how it was just kind of like a brief shot, and you understood what was happening, and then it went to credits, and you're just kind of like, yeah, just sit on that for a little bit, like, and just wait till the show comes back. I can't wait, dude. Like this, I don't know what it is. I did not expect this from Aziz, man. I feel like I've been underselling him for a really long time. Even though I listen to his stand-up and I laugh on occasion, I kept reading stuff on like Reddit and stuff that he doesn't really. He has like people source, like crowdsource for jokes that help him write. But this show feels like it's his baby, and along with another writer. But like it's like their baby, like they created this together, and it's just really fucking surprising, man. And it's mainly too because I just can't stop thinking about those episodes and how good they are. And again, Bobby Cannavale showing up and stealing the show a little bit. He's like the Anthony Bourdain,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good call.
Oh, yeah.
And that was fun. And how they created their own show, like on a Travel Channel or something. And then at the end, oh God, there was a really funny part at the end. I don't remember what Aziz said specifically, but it was a part where Bobby Cannavale's character gets accused of sexual harassment.
Yeah, it's super relevant now, by the way.
Yeah, super relevant. Way before it even, like, all that shit broke wide open, we saw this show. Yeah. And this happened in the show, and you're like, holy shit. And they ask Aziz about it, and the way he says something was, like, off. I can't remember what it was, but it made me laugh so hard. I can't remember what it was, but he says something that was, like, out of context is horrible. And then they attribute that quote to him and make it seem like that's his stance on it, and it's so fucking brilliant because that's it. Like that's the thing with reacting to news like that is like you're gonna be burned at the stake if you say one thing that out of context is horrible, like or whatever. I don't know. I found that to be interesting, but I'm sure that was just played for laughs basically, and it was funny. It's like, again, a funny show. I loved it, and JD, you had it at.
I had it 4.
4, yeah. So you loved it too.
I did.
Almost as much.
I did, man.
Yeah.
I think her and the girl from episode 4 of Black Mirror are like my 2 favorite people right now. And Kristen Milioti. Milioti. Yeah, I can never get that name right.
Tracy, whatever.
She'll always be Miss Mosby.
Yep.
Those 3 girls have my attention. I'm just gonna say that.
Oh yeah.
Big time. Big time.
Oh. Big time.
Yeah, big time. Pretty good. Yeah, so that's my number 2, and now we're at our number 1s. And before we do that, though, do we have honorable mentions?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What do you guys have?
House of Cards is an on-men for me.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Okay, pedophile apologist.
Yeah, whatever, pedophile.
Hey. We don't have to kill the past yet, Kylo. Shut the fuck up.
Before we get...
All right, sorry.
Good.
There's a video meme of him saying traitor and yelling traitor at Finn, and they keep extending him shouting it like they. It's fucking hilarious.
Don't shoot me.
You should right.
I still need to finish House of Cards. I still kind of feel dirty about it, though.
Well, you know how it ends, so that got
I do
spoiled
know
for
how it
me.
ends, so I'm just kind of like, whatever, I'll watch season 5 because it's just Claire, and she's great.
Yeah. Totally.
Do y'all have
Christopher
any
Plummer's
others?
filling in, right?
Yeah, I've got Mastermind.
Christopher Plummer, Mastermind.
Yep.
Mastermind.
What is that? Not what it was called?
You mean Mindhunter?
Mindhunter. Why does it say it's right? Oh,
There's
you know
another
what?
show called Mastermind, though.
No. It's Mindhunter. My thing auto-corrected because Mindhunter is not one word.
Oh yeah.
As I was saying it, it didn't sound right, and you questioned it, and I was like, "Oh no, that's not right."
Why
Yeah,
do I
Mindhunter.
not know what that is.
Mindhunter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was again. I just didn't have room for it in my honorable mentions. That's a really good show, though.
Really
Gotta
interesting.
finish it.
Yeah.
Gots to.
Yeah, you do, man. You fucking
You got
do.
to finish it.
Unbelievable. Jesus
Talked
H.
about
a lot of the ones are already in mind, like Glow and Game of Thrones, which again would just be number one, which I assume is somebody's number one. So he
Yeah, I
can
don't
carry
know.
the
We'll talk
tornado.
about it maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Master of None, American Vandal, Love. I really enjoyed this
Yes,
year. I
that's,
think next year it's ending, or this year it's ending. So we'll see how that all wraps
I'm
up.
actually fun fact. I requested the day that it comes out off because the day before Love streams, Jessica Jones streams.
Ooh.
So I requested the day off, have a 3-day weekend, and watch all those shows.
Yeah,
That's
it's easy to
fucking
binge
crazy.
one show in one weekend, but two.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
absurd,
Yeah,
man.
you need a head start. That's for sure.
It's excessive.
It's excessive.
I am excited that it's coming back, and I don't know if it might not have been their call, but at least it's ending. Like it's getting an ending, and they know it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I mean, I guess.
I think that's cool.
How
How long could you keep this going for? You
Yeah.
know, it's a story about them too. It's not like they're gonna break up and date other people. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's the story of them, and you can't keep this going on for 4 seasons or 5.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think so.
I have Nathan For You had a really great season. I just love the shit out of that show. And the end of the season was like a film, basically, which he actually screened at some film festivals, I believe. It was called Finding Francis, where like he took his shitty Bill Gates impersonator from a previous episode, and who's an incredibly awkward human being, as awkward as Nathan. And,
Oh, great.
Yeah, and so they really hit it off. It's great. And he's helping this guy try to find the love of his life. And it's just this awkward tale of these two people that are on a road together that have no business being with each other on the road. And he's trying to find this guy's love of his life or whatever from like high school. It actually ends up being like a poignant thing. Like even the guy who did Wormwood, the director who did Wormwood, who's like a famous documentary director, Wormwood. Am I saying that right?
No, you're right.
Progadal.
Progadal.
He was like Finding Francis was like his favorite thing to watch the entire year, and yeah, there's some poignant stuff there, but he also has some other ridiculous shit where like one episode he has a computer repair shop that's just occupied with asexuals, people that aren't interested in looking at your dirty pictures, like, and what's funny is they're behind their own wall, like fixing computers, and the shop owner has to talk them through fixing it because they don't know how to fucking fix computers. Their main appeal is that they're asexual. It's fucking ridiculous, man. I just love seeing the show in action because Nathan Fielder, he says that he doesn't like write the show in advance. The things just happen on the show, and then he writes the voiceover and acts like it was part of a plan, which is fucking genius. Like, it's so crazy.
It's crazy.
It's good, though. I mentioned Good Place. Curb is an honorable mention for me.
Me too.
Really great season. I love the whole fatwa thing, and the season finale has my favorite phrase ever in it, which is sleep fucking. Were you sleep fucking? No, of course I wasn't sleep fucking. It's so good. Good Place. What else? Halt and Catch Fire. The Handmaid's Tale was really good. It was a little bleak, though. Like, it's hard to recommend because it's fucking dark like the whole time.
Yeah.
But it's really, I like the style of that show, and it's just really well acted, despite me not liking Elizabeth Moss and her Scientology shit, but whatever. Rick and Morty. South Park had like a return to form season, I think. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon is really, really funny. It's about a stand-up comedian in the like 40s or some shit like that. Like when it wasn't popular to be a female comic. And it's really funny. Like if you do a show like that, you can't have your stand-up suck. So
Yeah,
the
right,
fact that it's
right.
funny, I'm laughing, and the dialogue is like fast as shit. It's really good. Who else is in it? Tony Shalhoub's in it.
Ooh.
Rachel Brosnahan. I don't know how to say her name, but she was in House of Cards. She played the
Oh yeah, she was the like
like
prostitute.
the hooker
that
or something, or prostitute
Yeah.
that could have snitched on Frank, I think.
Yep.
What else? The Sinner with Jessica Biel and Bill Pullman, another USA show I would not have expected to have liked at all. But the mystery is just so compelling. It's so good. She ends up like she kills a guy in the beach in public, like just totally just kills a guy, and the whole show is about why, you know, because you've seen her do it. It's not did she do it, because she fucking did it. She kills a guy in public, and she's like a mother who had her shit together seemingly. So they're trying to like uncover repressed memories to see why she did it. Great show. Really great show. Bill Pullman brings his A game, which is kind of, almost a never thing for him. So those are all in mine. Do you guys have any others?
Yeah, I got two more. Attack on Titan season 2 came back. It's that Japanese show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
It's the Game of Thrones of anime. Mm-hmm. Like, don't get attached to any characters. They're either going to betray you or die.
They're all going to die.
So,
okay.
Great anime. Really big. I had everyone talking back in the earlier this year. And also earlier this year, Samurai Jack. Really fucking like that.
I did not know you liked that series. Yeah.
You didn't. Yeah, you would have never guessed I liked a show called Samurai something. That's crazy.
I'm friends with people that love the shit out of that show and its return.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
Huge fan of that guy, Gendry Taran. Oh, don't even make me say his name. He's great.
Glengarry.
He also did Gary Tomarowski. And he also did a Clone Wars series also. Not the Clone Wars series, but a Clone Wars series. Very good.
Nice. Was it the animated one or?
Not the animated. It was the animated one, not the CG one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. The one that's I remember that one getting a ton of acclaim. I haven't seen it.
Super good.
Yeah.
Super rad, and it's got his like classic like art style. That everything looks the same that he draws. Powerpuff Girls, like all that stuff. I don't think he does Powerpuff Girls.
So like Samurai Jack has like 5 seasons, right? I could probably watch that shit.
Samurai Jack is awesome, man. It's really smart. It was smart back then, and it's really aged up. And like it has some of the most beautifully drawn stuff like that I've ever seen. Like the way that they do a lot of their storytelling. It's very like it's all about him getting his like courage back to like face Aku, and then the very last fight is awesome. It's so good. Is
that streaming anywhere?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to find it somewhere.
I think Samurai Jack is on Hulu, but I don't know if the latest season is.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I'll check it out then, because it's not the first time I've heard great things about that.
It's super good.
Those were your only other 2?
Yep.
Okay, cool. JD, do you have any?
Glow was a strong on-man for me. Just came off watching that. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a pretty fun season.
That was on my list for a while. That and Runaways for Marvel, because those shows are great.
I still need to get into the Runaways, man. And
I'm surprised at how good it is, honestly.
Yeah. Cool.
Has no right
they're still dropping new episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. No, it's still going.
I think some episodes are stronger than others, honestly, and that's the only reason it's not an honorable mention. But the fact that it's, and they're not getting really to the Runaways part like immediately, like they do in the comics. But I still like all the parent stuff, which is not in the comics. And when the kids do come together and actually like use their powers one time, it's like. It's like everything I thought it would be on the show. Yeah, it's just cool.
Sweet.
It's just a good show. That's all I got. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., man, really fucking strong shit. Really strong.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys encouraged me to push through those last few episodes.
Yeah, it was cool, man. I like their little version of the Matrix. It's
it was
and
fun.
how
Awesome.
like they don't spend. Well, they do spend a lot of time in there to the point where like it does become your mental reality, and Fitz comes out going, I did so much horrible shit in there.
Oh, I know.
He takes that with him.
How could you not, though?
I know, right? How could you not?
You did that shit.
Yeah, like I love
that's your consciousness.
this woman who's not real, Ada or whatever. And I loved her reaction. I think this was like one of the final episodes of the season where like he told her he wasn't going to be with her. And her reaction, like she just flipped a switch, and I did not expect that from that actress. That was intense as fuck. It was crazy.
Yep.
Oh man,
it's
a good show, man. They're
sure.
still bringing it, and despite people not watching or whatever the fuck, it's a good show. People need to watch, man.
Yeah, it's great.
I will once I can binge through all of them, man. That's how I like that show.
Yeah, I understand. I do, because some weeks I'm like, oh, fuck, man, I wish they would just answer this one cliffhanger or resolve this one part.
Right.
And I feel like if I binged it, it would be like the best experience to watch that show. But I don't want to miss out. I get serious FOMO with TV specifically. Serious case of it. So JD,
yeah.
Did you have any others? I'm sorry. Before I get to your.
Oh, any other amens? No.
Oh, okay. JD,
we covered them.
Bestow upon us your number 1.
It's a little show, small show. It's Walking Dead. No, fuck
it's
that.
Walking Dead.
No, I would have laughed
go to
so
Pea
hard.
Pan City.
Gotcha. Hey,
I love Carl. Redemption for Carl.
Carl. Yeah, I put Game of Thrones at number 1, man.
I hear it.
As it should be, because it was the best fucking thing ever.
Yeah, it was.
Holy shit, it's not fair, and you were right to leave it off your list because it's a cop out. But
it's just totally, at this point, it is for me. It has my favorite moment of TV all year, and it's when like your 5 favorite characters somehow get all at the same place at the same time, like north of the wall, killing things.
Yes,
and I'm like, this is so like good. The Avengers of Westeros. You know,
right?
It's
yeah,
like
it
the
was.
5
It was great.
who are the coolest dudes on the show. Like just it was so rad, and then their banter was awesome. It was legendary. That whole episode was awesome.
Thoros' banter when it's like I thought you were the bravest man in the world. Is like, well, just the drunkest.
I was the drunkest. Yeah. Yeah,
that was so cool. And then they all realize like, oh, you're a Mormont. There was a Mormont that captured me. So they realize they're connected. Right. More than just the mission. There's history there.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Totally. Yeah,
pretty cool.
If they didn't mention that, they would have gotten so much shit, honestly. But yeah, I'm glad that they bring that stuff up and as a fresh
we were so focused
too.
on time and stuff like that this year that you know I think you could have gotten away with anything this year because we were so distracted by the stupid shit.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, the real flight of a mystical dragon that isn't real. Okay.
There ain't no way Gendry can run that quick. Like, fuck off. That's not the point.
Yeah.
The only thing that left it a little lower on my list, but it's still on my list, so that means I did love it a lot. Was it does feel like, I feel like we're getting there really quick. Like, you know what I mean? Like every other season was kind of like, there was a build and everything, and we're just getting so much payoff, and I'm like, pump the brakes. That's the only thing.
Well, and like the big like payoff at the very end of this episode, you know, the one that everyone was waiting for or whatever. I'm kind of glad we didn't have to go through all that shit though. Like, I'm blinking, you know, we're like winking and nudging at each other for 4, whole episode. Like they just got to it and like fine, now we can get to the good shit next season instead of like that being like the big focus next season.
I'm super excited for the final season. Fucking bittersweet as shit. The final season that we'll get in 2020 or whenever the fuck we'll get that show. In 5 years when we get the show, it'll be great. They're going to George R.R. Martin us with the last season.
Right.
We haven't
written it yet. It's like, I thought you guys recorded it last year. That was the fake one that we were talking about.
And then it'll turn into another Logan Lucky gag or something. You got to watch that, Kyle, because purely for that part, honestly, I will literally just YouTube you that fucking scene. It's so good because it comes out of nowhere. It's like a random, it's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm bit in the middle of Logan Lucky. It's so good. Nice. A respectable number 1. Like it's not like I don't get it. Like it was my number 1 last year. It's so, man. There's some gratifying shit this season, nonstop, like back-to-back.
Final moment of the finale was just like edge of my seat territory. It was so fucking good, and I knew it was coming. You know, like it telegraphs it. You know exactly what's coming, but it paid off so well.
It did, yeah. I am already miserable about the idea of the show ending, but I will start it over when it ends because that's what I'm waiting for.
And I'm really excited for the 17 spinoffs, and I hope they all get greenlit. So.
Yeah. And actually, you know what? That may be why they're kind of leaving some stuff out. That people might be like, what's going? I'm not talking about Lady Stoneheart. I don't think we'll ever see her. Period.
No.
Any iteration of the show.
No, stop it, everybody.
But I feel like there's other stuff, like earlier stuff, with the Targaryens, like early reigns and stuff like that, or even before that. Like, there's so much prequel stuff to work out in another show.
They'll definitely do a spin-off of like the Targaryens coming to Westeros for the first time.
Yeah,
right.
They will. Like,
yeah,
man, these people can ride dragons. It was like a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd see and love the shit out of that. That's honestly.
Well, there definitely are new kings. Like it would happen so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely rule us.
So that's JD's number 1. It's Game of Thrones, a good one. Kyle, surprise me.
I won't. It's no surprise. It shouldn't be. Actually, this show was like down at number 5, like while I was watching, except it was just there's so much frustration and just so much frustration. Talk about a show that's meant to be binge. It's actually going to be back in theaters for an 18-hour straight movie or whatever in some theaters.
Yeah.
And it's really supposed to be viewed like that. I watched it again, back to back, nonstop. I watched it again, and then I watched breakdown like YouTube videos of every episode post episode 18. So they all went back and reanalyzed every episode, and I had to have everything then just spoon fed to me because this is a show that you have to do homework for.
Yeah.
Nothing, and I mean that, this is no hyperbole, nothing is explained to you at face value at all.
Nope.
Period. At any point at time, you have to piece together everything. And it's frustrating. That's how the first season was too. It's just the first season is a lot more grounded.
Yeah.
So like the puzzle pieces look at least more familiar to put together. You're like, oh, I at least know this whole series was so otherworldly. Like it was so weird, and the stuff that they decided to focus on was weird, and it just everything was all about throwing you off and like making you confused and like this journey of oh God, I can't even get into it without spoiling it. But like, you know, you get the resolutions that you set out to want by the end of it. It's just you don't realize that you get them unless you do a little digging.
There's some people that just got it in my feed, at least in my friends list, that were like Twin Peaks ended and they were like they got it immediately and they loved it. And I was on the other end of the spectrum going, what the fuck was that waste of time? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and I was frustrated too. Yeah. I mean, like, well, and I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan, so like I maybe should have been getting it or whatever, but I'm just like, this is just, ugh. Of course they let him be David Lynch. Like, I mean, of course
exactly,
he did. And
that was the arrangement.
And, like, I bet Mark Frost had like almost nothing to do with this stuff because it was so Lynchian. I don't even think he was there to be like, now David, let's reel it in a little bit, you know? No, he was like, no, we're going to have a whole episode where it's just you're floating through some explosion that starts in New Mexico and then it never stops for like 30-minute sequence of just psychedelic, like 2001 Space Odyssey type stuff. It's just so bizarre, but I loved it. I love having to do the homework. I waited like 3 or 4 months after watching it because I was just so like, ugh. Yeah. This is what I waited for. But then I like read the books that kind of came out afterwards.
Yeah, your books enlightened me too because you were posting the details on your Facebook.
Oh yeah, I was trying to put. At this point, I was just like, everyone just needs to know. Like, this is the facts. Here's what the books point out. The case files, all that stuff, and then the internet breakdowns. I just kind of let everybody do the work for me this time around. And you're never done dissecting a Lynch movie. You know, there's always going to be more. There's always going to be a new wrench in the agreed upon, lore, that everyone kind of agrees on or whatever. Because he's never going to come out and go, yep, that's what it is. No, he would never. Yep.
Anytime anybody's asked him, like, please define your work for us, with any movie, he's like, it's on the screen. Like, just watch it. I left it all in there for you.
Yeah, it's all on there.
Yeah. He refuses to discuss any of his work, which
good.
A lot of it needs that, but like.
Well, I know, but like
at the same time, not really. Yeah. I watched one of his other movies recently. Oh shit, Bill Pullman's in it, and
The Grudge.
Fuck, Bill Pullman's in it, so obviously it's The Grudge. It is definitely a Lynch movie. 90s, I think, was when it came out. Oh man, this is gonna drive me nuts. It wasn't Blue Velvet. Lost Highway, that was the one.
Lost Highway, okay.
Lost Highway is fucking weird, but it's not as weirdest though. Mulholland Drive is up there.
Yeah,
it's up there, and the current iteration of Twin Peaks too, of course. Yeah. So I mean, you watch it and then you have to kind of dig around. That's a respectable thing to do with work. It's ballsy as fuck too.
Yeah, and it's just like at this point, like that's what you just need to expect from him.
Yeah.
But even after it was all done, I was like, couldn't you have just like fucking like made me feel like at least like I understood it? And you know what I mean? Like, but you're leaving me to like walk away from the TV with my tail between my leg, going, I didn't fucking understand any of that.
Right.
Like none of it. Like the whole last hour and a half, that last episode, I'm like, this is it. We're going to get everything. And you get like almost nothing. Again, at face value. It's all there. You just have to put the pieces together. And it's just like, it was frustrating. Like it really was. But yeah, it took a binge watch and it took a lot of explaining. It took a lot of homework. And it's a fucking masterpiece, man. It's so ridiculous. It's so deep and like confusing and it makes you work for it. And you have to watch the movie and you have to watch the first season. You have to have all these like tools in your arsenal to like put together the full thing. And man, I just love a show that can make me work like that, in overtime. Like I probably, this show is 18 hours or whatever.
Yep.
I probably invested 100 hours of my life into this show this year.
Yeah. And David Lynch has, I think, said, or at least maybe Showtime has, that he filmed it all like a movie, basically. And the way that they literally just edit it in chunks of time. Like, they weren't like, here's a coherent narrative for one episode. Okay, cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
That's
just
why
all
it ends
filmed
and
as
you're
a movie.
like, nothing happened that episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all filmed
nothing
as
happened
a
for that
movie.
stretch of 2 hours during that edit.
It's maybe to the show's detriment. It's filmed like a movie but edited like a show, which is fucking hard to follow week to week.
Yeah.
So I just let it build. I just let it backlog when I got to the end.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, and I wish I would have because, ugh, man, yeah, the way I was watching it was just not serving it.
Yeah. So I'm up to my number one, and that's a show we've all mentioned. It's Fargo. That's my number one. My favorite characters on television this year, honestly, like every single one of them.
Yeah.
They're just so fucking good. Noah Hawley is just the goddamn king of television, honestly. He's out there on FX specifically, I guess. I guess he has a deal with them. Just making top-notch premium shit. And the cast...
Hey, can you come back and do something like that again? He's like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, you know what? I'll do 2 for you this year. How about that?
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, okay, yeah. We like that a lot.
But I may not come back for another Fargo season. I don't know yet. He is the one calling the shots, by the way. If he says, hey, I may not have any more stories for Fargo, it's his call. It's not FX going, we're done with you, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like in the way that when Louis C.K. pre-fuck up, or his fuck up coming to light, when he was doing the show Louis, it was his call. Like, I'm not doing another. I'm pretty much done telling stories for that guy. It wasn't FX going, we're done with you. Right. And if this is the one he left us on, I mean, I'm glad we at least got 3 seasons, and this one was incredible. Like, I still think the first one was the best, honestly, in my opinion, because I just love the dynamic between Billy Bob Thornton and Martin Freeman. Billy Bob Thornton's character was a fucking force of nature, and
yeah, he was.
That was absolutely what David Thewlis, Ares, crusty British man. That was absolutely what he came off as in this too, and that's what I love about Fargo. Tonally, I guess is Noah Hawley knows what the Coens were going for, and it's like the enemies are just inexplicable, come out of nowhere forces of nature that are just impossible to wrap your head around. Specifically this guy who's like, which one is it where you throw up? Is it bulimia?
Yeah, bulimia. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's bulimic, and so his teeth are fucked up. He doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
He has so much success, and he has apparently a hell of a law team, like, because he's not sweating. Nobody's sweating at the end of the series too. Like, that's the craziest. Like, they're both like, no, watch, I'm right. No, watch, I'm right. Like, and it's just like, that's a mind fuck of an ending. Like,
oh yeah, it is.
But I'm glad
so
it
perfect.
went down the way it did. Because it left the door open for us to interpret it instead of just everything being fed to us. I mean, I know Twin Peaks fed you literally nothing.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
You have a lot bigger picture to work with, you know,
right?
so.
Yeah, Fargo gives you almost like 99% of it. You know, like and there's a great episode too that explains like the metaphor of everything, or at least gives every character parallels to an animal. Remember that? Where like somebody's reading like a fable and comparing like David Thewlis to I don't remember the exact animal, but like a lion or something like that, and they're comparing the shitty Ewan McGregor twin, the one who's not good looking or whatever, comparing him to like something weaker. It's crazy
Swango
though.
was the cat,
yeah, and it's crazy though that like these characters, Nikki Swango, Mary Elizabeth Attractive Face.
Gosh,
love her.
Amazing.
I'll tell her. I'll tell her you guys said hello.
Oh, you're friends with her.
See you
right?
later. Yeah.
It's just pretty incredible. Like she's clearly like kind of using people more or less, but something about her, I don't know, something about her approach with Ewan McGregor's. Is it Ray, the twin that she's with?
I think so. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah,
about
because it's Ennis is the good looking one.
Their relationship felt genuine, even though it kind of felt like the priority for her was like their mission or their goal, and not her affection for him. But I don't know. There was something about these characters that you just fucking fall in love with, man. And you're like, I care so much about them. Don't die. It's so stressful every episode. And I love that they included the deaf guy from season 1 in this. That was season 1, right? Where he was with the Hebrew Hammer, and I thought that was season 1. Maybe season
I haven't
2.
seen the first 2.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I love them being paired together, and he becomes kind of like her muscle, more or less. Mm-hmm. And that entire episode where they're in the woods running.
Oh, that was so cool.
That was an amazing episode. That was like, oh my gosh. And it's hard to single out, hey, which one's the best episode? Because I'm pretty sure all these were like my favorite, of the season. So there was no weak like episodes. There was no stumbling to the finish line or stumbling at any point in the season for me. It was just a perfect season.
Well, and like there was a lot of episodes that felt like the climax.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are there 6 more episodes left? And then 2 episodes passed. I'm like, there's like 4 more episodes. Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Like after what just happened?
I remember you and I talking, Kyle, like after episode 9, and we were like, man, that was a crazy finale. Oh wait, there's another one. There's another fucking episode. That's crazy. And then what's funny is the finale is the one that doesn't end with a sense of finality. Like that's the one that ends open ended, and you're like, so wait, what happens?
Oh, cool. So next week we'll get another one? No, man, that was it.
Next week we'll get like a 5-minute scene where it answers what the fuck that was. I still love that part though, because I was reading reviews of it and recaps and stuff, and everybody's own interpretation of it, and I think that's the beauty of it, is you can get so many different interpretations of it and of who's the winner or whatever. But ultimately, it doesn't matter who comes out on top, because the world's always going to be full of people like this, like mystically bad people that are just super powerful, and people like Carrie Coon who are good, but they don't have enough people. They don't have enough firepower in terms of support and stuff like that to catch these bad guys. And it's just a perpetual state of the world, you know? So, I mean, I thought that was the point ultimately of the end of the show. Because it doesn't matter, you know, it's cyclical. It's just going to come back around, you know? It's so good. Perfect season. That's why it's my number 1. Great year for TV. Holy shit.
Super good.
And I can't believe we're just getting started, man. This was our first of 3. I'm doing math right?
That's how that works, Sam.
Yeah, that's math. This is the first one down, and next week Kyle and I and JD's going to be on to talk about Super Mario, and that's it. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, just call me. I'll be around.
Just call you, and then you'll be like, all right, bye. Super Mario Odyssey's great. Bye.
Don't talk about me.
Don't talk about it, you understand?
Hey, don't talk about me.
What I drive.
Talk about what I drive.
Don't tell anybody, okay?
I just want to lean on this wall. That's the ending scene. Have you heard... We'll talk about it, I guess. We'll dive more into it in the movie episode, because it's an honorable mention for me, Disaster Artist.
Yeah,
we'll
a strong
talk more
for me.
We'll talk more about Tommy's cameo then, because I've heard James Franco's interviews on Tommy's cameo, and it's a hell of a story. It's pretty funny.
It's fascinating. The whole thing is fascinating.
The whole thing is, of course. But yeah, that's TV, and next week we're going to do top 10. Kyle and I will do top 10 games. My list will be sure to upset a lot of people. Purely for some games not being explored more than others. Like certain games grabbed me that I did not expect them to sink their teeth into me. And they fucking did. Like Kyle's been talking for years, as long as I've known him about Persona 5. And here I am going, I can't stop playing Persona 5. Or Persona in general.
Oh, weird. It's super weird.
It's fucking weird. It's some alternate universe Jeff right now on the microphone. I'm really excited to dive into those games, man, especially having listened to the Fathers of the Grind podcast, that the Game of the Year episodes that Kyle was on. Everybody needs to go listen to those because they're fucking great. It's like a 7-part thing of... kind of
a 16-part miniseries with
16-part gives Twin Peaks a run for its money in terms of length. And,
right. If you watch them all back to back, you get the whole story. So.
You do. But yeah, it's highly entertaining, and it's certainly educated me more on the titles that I have in my fucking top 10 list, for crying out loud. Yeah, it's just a great podcast. Go listen to that one too. Listen to us first though. Priorities.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got that coming up, and then movies, top 10 movies, and we'll announce more stuff after that.
Boy, I'm glad I snuck in Dark Tower before that episode.
I'm sure that's up there in the 10 somewhere.
Last minute homework there.
Oh my god.
Hey, Idris, you wanna come up into my Dark Tower really quick?
Yeah. All right. It's nice and dark up here.
He is the bad guy. That's right.
You just want to
Hey.
come up into the Dark Tower real quick. Hey, you die. Okay, he's dead. Look at him.
Roland.
All right.
Roland, don't let me die, Roland.
That boy
He
you're
starts
with
doing
is
the
really
chest
stupid.
thing from Wolf on Wall Street.
That's like, actually, y'all know that's like McConaughey's real thing.
Yeah,
that
that's
he
a real
does
thing he
before
brought
scenes,
to that
and so they
character.
just put it in the
that
movie.
scene.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does that for real. He's a fucking weirdo.
is.
I'm excited to dive into this all of the stuff from last year because it's been so fucking good on every front that we're going to talk about.
I've never watched as many movies in a year as I've watched.
Me too.
I don't think I certainly
got
haven't.
50
Yeah.
new
years.
movies.
What was
But,
that?
like, I've got 50 total movies from that year,
Yeah.
which has never happened for me.
Right.
And yeah, I've watched so many fucking movies. It's crazy.
I'm in the 200 range, like 205 or something.
Yeah, you're on steroids.
Yeah, I'm on roids. I'm roiding out
Movie,
when I watch
movie
movies.
Pass though is a godsend.
It is.
Like, ugh.
And
Best
it's
$10
for
ever.
me too, though. I've never watched that many movies in a year, but that's how fucking deep the year went. Like for movies and games too. Like I'm cutting honorable mentions, and I just cut Tacoma. Kyle knows what that game is. I just cut Tacoma for my honorable mentions, and I actually like that game a lot.
Oh wow!
Like that game was great. I didn't have
Yeah.
room for that shit. Like, damn it! I'm so upset. This year is so good. Last year, actually the past couple of years that Kyle and I did a podcast and did our top tens. It was kind of like indie fest at Jeff's top 10 list. And this year, I'm having trouble including any indies because the AAA games have been knocking it out of the park. It's been a crazy year, man. Ready for what 2018 is going to bring us. It's just going to be Red Dead Redemption 2 in my top 10, like all 10.
All of them?
All 10. Just like JD's top 10 of Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, it's all Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah. Which I finally started to play more of. I just resent the game a little bit for making me use Joy-Cons and not a controller. Well, you might want to flick it. And,
Yeah.
whatever. I have friends that played it without disconnecting the controllers. Like they played it as a handheld and didn't disconnect the side controllers into Joy-Cons. And they were like, well, I just kind of had to flick the tablet a little bit. And I'm like, I still don't want to fucking play the game like that. I just want to play it with the controller. But whatever, that's fine. That's a first world complaint. Still a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I just feel weird, especially when I have the handheld and it's on a stand, of like having both Joy-Cons in my hand, like, and the small screen is right there in front of me, and I'm just kind of lightly flicking. It looks weird. Like, Jeff, is that a game? What are you doing? Are you doing like wrist exercises? Anyway, stay tuned for those episodes. I'm Jeff. We need to introduce ourselves. Fuck it. I'm Jeff. You can find me on Twitter at Jeff Widdy, Widdy, and we're on Letterboxd, boxd.com. I'm there under Jeff Widdy. You guys are there under whatever your usernames are. And EoC Pod is there too for all of our movies. This is for movies specifically. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube and iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, all the fucking podcast stuff. So you can find us on. And Kyle, where can people find you?
Over here on Subculture, and you can find me on their Twitch channel as well.
All right. Are you doing Sims this week or?
Yeah, I'm gonna do Sims this week. We're back at it.
Yeah.
We're back.
And we're back. JD, I assume you're in like a hospital or something in your spare time.
I'm taking the week off from being a doctor.
Oh, okay.
It's my vacation.
Okay.
So if people die, fuck it. I mean, it's whatever. It's not on my watch. Yeah.
If people die, fuck it. All right.
Fuck that shit. Get better white blood cells, bitch.
Bam. All right.
Sorry.
So that's all we got. That's all she wrote. And now it's gaming time for me. That's for sure.
Sweet.
I got a lot to do. That's fine.
Yeah.
It'll be an educated top 10. All right. So see you guys later.